نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد بسم الله. Alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq today to gather again on this blessed day and to offer his prayer in masjid and to seek his reward. Indeed, Jummah is a special day and it is a day which is the day of Eid. It's like a day of Eid every week that we get as Muslims, and we look forward to coming to Jummah and to make preparations. As Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned, comes in narration narrated by Ibn Abbas and Ibn Majah, إن هذا يوم عيد جعله الله للمسلمين فمن جاء إلى الجمعة فليغتسل وإن كان طيب فليمس منه وعليكم بالسواك. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this the day of Friday a celebration for Muslims. Whoever comes to Friday prayer, let him take a bath and apply perfume if he has it and use the miswak. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower his mercy upon us and on every day and make and give us the tawfiq to make this the best use of this day of Jummah. Ameen. Last couple of days we have been, last couple of weeks I should say, we have been going through the tafsir of Surah Mulk. And inshallah we will continue that in our sessions going forward. But today I wanted to talk about a related topic, which is our connection with Quran. What should be our connection with Quran? And this, inshallah, I'll try to address how Quran should be part of our daily life. And it is not only the form of verses we recite or we hear the Imam recite in recitation of prayer, but also to make a strong connection with Quran ourselves. But before we go to this idea of discussing the connection with Quran, it's a very important question we should ask ourselves. What is the expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with respect to Quran? So when you apply for a job interview, the top of mind thought that you have is, what is expected of me? What does the new employer expect of me? And then how can I do my best to make sure that I fulfill that expectation? Same is with Quran. We should try to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from us first, and then of course make our efforts accordingly. So we should ask our question, what is the expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with respect to Quran? And the answer comes in Quran itself. In Surah Anfal, verse number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. The believers are those, when Allah is mentioned, they feel a fear in their hearts. And when His verses are recited to them, it increases them in Iman and they put their trust in their Lord. So from this verse, clearly what is the expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with respect to Quran? That when you recite it, your Iman increases. When you recite Quran, your Iman increases. So now the question changes. The question changes to, how can your Iman increase? What are the indicators that you can look out for that your Iman is increasing when you recite Quran? And in simple terms, you can think about this as our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases. So our belief in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran of this world, of the hereafter, becomes more firm. We understand the true reality about this world and the hereafter, about Jannah and Jahannam. We understand that they are real. We become more attracted towards doing good deeds, and we become very cautious of not committing sins. That, in a nutshell, could be an indicator that our Iman is increasing when we recite Quran. Let's talk about how to meet this expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the first step in this direction of meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's expectation about Quran is to make a strong connection with Quran. And as simple as it might sound, what does it mean to have a strong connection? I think that's a point of reflection also for us. What does it mean to have a connection with anything? And I'll define it in a simple way. Connection with someone or something is based on how much time you spend on it on a daily basis. That's one way to look at the connection. And let's apply that to our lives. Let's apply this to all the different ages that we have, that a human being goes through. And in today's age, what do we see is a strong connection? So if you're a child, your strong connection is with the toys you play with every single day. You spend a lot of time with your toys. If you're a young adult, what's your connection? Most likely the time you spend on mobile phone, watching either different things or games or whatever have you. That's a young child these days, watching TV or watching different things on a mobile phone or device. What about young adults? Well, most likely it's hanging out with friends. So your strong connection is with your friends. If you're a working person, the time you spend with your coworkers, most of the hours of the day, you're making a strong connection with them. If you're a stay-at-home person, what's your strongest connection? Well, it would be, again, what you do perhaps on your social media, connect with people over the phone. That's probably your strong connection. If you're an elderly person, lots of time, again, your social gatherings, talking about politics, latest recipes, whatever have you, that could be your strongest connection. So those are our strongest connection on a daily basis based on how much time we spend. If you think about this, kind of unfortunate that there isn't Quran in that list of any age group. Quran doesn't make it. And that's the real dilemma that we should address. How can Quran be part of our daily life and we're spending a lot more time with it? When we decide to spend time with something, it's because there's importance that we have of that thing. You have importance of your friends, so you spend time with them, and so on and so forth. So we should understand what's the value, what's the importance of Quran. And it could be in our own eyes, we don't have the right importance, but what is the value Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Quran? That should be our barometer, our way to measure the value of Quran is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasized it. So another narration by Anas bin Malik Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said about Quran, Inna lillahi ahlina minan nas. Qalu ya Rasulullah manhum. Qalahum ahlul Qur'ani ahlullahi wa khassatuhu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned Allah has his own people among mankind. So this is a big statement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has his own people. So Sahaba were curious. Who are those people? How can we become those people that are mentioned, especially here, that they are people of Allah? So he said, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, when people asked him, the people of the Quran are the people of Allah and those who are closest to Him. Those are the people that are of special importance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they are people of Quran. Allahu Akbar. Such a big connection you can get with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just by having a strong connection with Quran, and you are classified as people of Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among them, among those special people that have a connection with Quran. Ameen. So again, we go through a lot of these, small talks, lectures, but it doesn't, value or it doesn't benefit you unless you come up with an action plan. If there is no action out of what you listen to, then it helps you eventually, it will sink in, but there's no immediate benefit you can get out of it. So let's think about practically what could we take benefit out of what we heard today? How do we make connection with Quran? What would be our action plan? So there are at different ages, you can have different action plan. So think about if you're children or the parents around children, what would you want to do? Well, make the children learn Quran and start with the basics of tajweed, like how to recite it properly. At that age, it's more relevant for them. They should be spending their time learning how to recite Quran properly. Or similarly, memorize the du'as, the simple du'as that come in Quran. Again, at every age, there is a way to make a connection with Quran. So at a very small age, yes, they should be taught how to read Quran properly. They should be taught the basic du'as from the Quran. At a teenager, at that age, what would you be doing? Well, begin to read Quran with translation. Now you are at an age that you could actually understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to you, and that comes with translation. Of course, the best thing is to understand in Arabic itself, but at the very beginning, you can just read the translation along with the text of Quran, and that would be your way to connect with Quran. And then, of course, another aspect that could be attractive or could be interesting for a teenager is to look at all the stories of different prophets that is in Quran. So, for the story of Ibrahim a.s., Yusuf a.s., the challenges they had, Yaqub a.s., Ayub a.s. There's so many prophets mentioned in the Quran. Look at what happened to them. Their stories should be inspiring to us, and again, would make a strong connection with Quran as we read through it. What about adults? What would be their focus? How can they make that connection to Quran? Well, again, read Quran. on a daily basis, even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. Do not spend a day without reading Quran. And imagine how can you answer to subhanahu wa ta'ala? He sent you a book of guidance. You spend so much time reading news on a daily basis. You cannot spend 5-10 minutes Quran, like either in the morning, before going to bed. That's the minimum you can do. With translation, of course, that would help you even more understand the message that is in the Quran. And of course, start memorizing, the meanings of Quran in terms of simple surahs, small surahs. You recite them every day in your prayer. Try to understand what you're saying. And again, that will make a stronger connection of you with Quran. And finally, if you're more advanced, you can go to tafsir. Start, reading book of tafsir. And inshallah, that will be a source of guidance for you as well. So again, the point being, there's something you can do at every age level to connect with Quran. And at any age, you will find that there's appropriate ways to interact with Quran. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us, give us a tawfiq, that we spend some time with Quran, make that strong connection, and that will make us the special people in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people of Quran. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك